Hey everyone, this is Josh with Revive. Today's video is going to be a little different. We were in the shop filming some restoration videos, and I thought it would be interesting for Brian to teach me, a complete amateur, how to do a basic single stitch. What you're going to see is a step-by-step guide on how to do a basic stitch from 2 angles, and Brian's expert narration along the way. Let's jump in.
Okay, so remind me what we're doing today.
Sewing this seam closed.
A seam and a pillow, and what tools and technique?
I'm going to be using the curved needle and what I call is a single stitch, as opposed to the double stitch. Double stitch is 2 threads back and forth. This is only going to be 1 going through each direction.
So what type of application is single versus double? I forget.
Well, the 1 stitch is like this going through. Zigzag is crisscrossing.
Gotcha. So this one is
for speed.
Speed, kind of a general purpose repair.
Yeah.
Okay, well, show us how to do single stitch repair.
Okay, I'm getting the start of my thread going. So I've gone underneath the fabric. As you can see, I'm using black thread, so I want to hide my, there you go. And now I'm just going to tuck in and grab some fabric. And I want to just get in here.
What's this entry?
Yeah, you're just going back and forth, zigzagging back and forth across.
Are you, it's always forward momentum?
Yep. Well, it depends on the seating and where you're, like how you're situated. You know, you don't always have the ideal. Here's it's pretty good, so we can see what I'm doing here. Lighting in a basement's not always ideal.
Sure. One side and then the other.
Yep. So you can see my threads here.
Yeah. Why is there 2 threads?
Just because I tie it in a loop, and then I'll just tie this off in the end. Just easier to sew through the needle rather than have 1 thread.
So the next, you put 1 in the bottom, the next one has to be farther along
Zigzagging
and on the top.
Yeah, so I'm zigzagging across like this. Yeah.
Does it matter your entry point is on the top or the bottom at the start of the stitch?
Well, when I start off, I go underneath and I come out as close to the end of the seam as I can. Preferably a little bit past the seam, and then when I'm coming back, this way if there's any additional broken threads, those won't come apart as well from the previous threads.
How are you determining how far your stitches have to be apart?
I try to follow the same stitch line that was existing. I can see where the holes are. As long as I'm close, I don't have to be exact. But just as long as that my seam is tight enough where I don't see my black thread.
Doesn't seem too complicated, this stitch.
Nope. Like I said, it's probably, and this is why I like working with fabric, because it stretches. These sewing jobs always turn out. If this was vinyl, it's less forgiving.
When you pull it tight at the end, that's, yeah. You're pretty close to the, like when you do the stitch, you're pretty close to the damage.
Yep.
Is that customary? Do you ever like leave some fabric at the end to kind of crush in, or how do you determine how close your entry point is to where the rip is?
Well, you want to be before the rip or the opening of the seam is, and then you want to go a little past. Right. You want to catch and tighten the fabric where the older existing threads are.
Well,
What are you doing now?
I am tying off the end of my line and my threads here and making a knot. You can see the knot there in the camera, I think. I'm making it large enough.
yeah, well,
So this is multiple knots.
Yeah, I don't want it to come apart.
On top of each other. Regular knots pulled tight.
So
did you just cut the loop? What did you do?
No, I cut I cut the loop previously, and then I just cut the two ends so that they're matching so that I could put it through the needle easier.
The camera's on manual focus. If you got to see it, you got to be right up against the pillow. Yeah. So you've cut it, it's at the end, you have all this extra, now what are you doing?
I'm putting the needle right next to the knot.
You're gonna have to move your hands, I think, to show the camera the position. It sees it for sure. Yeah, gotcha.
And then I'm going to pull this all through.
Okay. I might need an the camera saw
So
it,
what I did was I made a knot on the surface.
So you got
And then
you had your two ends.
Yeah,
And then you
I
tied them together.
Right, and then I put the thread back through right next to where the knot is, and I looped inside the cushion and back out again. So when I pull here, it pulls the knot inside the cushion.
So not inside. So you had so you had your two ends.
Yeah.
Tied them in a knot. You had a ton of extra. The extra wasn't a loop. It was two extra loose ends that you cut.
Yeah.
And then you took those two loose ends, you thread them through the needle. You put that needle back behind the knot.
Yeah.
Plunge it in, pull it through, the knot goes under, but the tips come out.
That's right.
And that's what you're holding right now.
Yep.
Well, it's easy when you put it like that.
Then there.
So the knot with tiny little tips at the end exists inside the pillow.
That's right.
Because you cut all the extra.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's it. Could you show the finished seam to the camera, or kind of where it was before? I think because it's hidden. That's the whole point. The camera can't see. I mean, the camera sees the pillow, but like obviously there's nothing there anymore. That seems just as effective as the double blind. Why would anyone double blind when you could do something like that twice the speed?
Because you're hiding behind the piping.
Oh, it's a piping thing.
Yeah, so you've got areas of multiple fabric where the seam can have a little bit of a ripple and it doesn't show. If you were on the seam I did in the cushion of the other one, that seam was out wide open. So it had to be perfectly straight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I get you, the implication. So what types of application does the single stitch have in upholstery repair? Like this seems really utilitarian. You can use it on a lot of things.
I use it.
Oh, it's down there, your needle.
I use it on everything. It's my go-to stitching. I will, if I'll use the double blind stitch when I have time, and I need to make it like a front of a cushion. I'll always use a double blind stitch, but if it's anywhere else, a back or a side or anywhere where it's not right front visible, then I'll use a single stitch.
Does this work on leather too?
Yes, it does. Yep. Yep. Leather's a little bit more challenging because if the holes are too close together, so then I'll end up looping far inside, and sometimes I'll have to open up the hole a little bit more so that the needle can get in there, and I'll use an awl to stretch the hole a little bit. Now that stretched hole will only stretch for a little while, and then it goes back to its original, it flexes back into its original size.
Could you have done that with a straight needle, or that's a curved needle specific sew?
I highly doubt you could do that with a straight needle.
So get your curved needles.
Yep.
At the affiliate links that we're listing below so we get commission and pay. Is there anything else about the single needle stitch?
Nope, that's it. You've seen it there.
Thanks for watching Revive. You'll find links to all the products we used in today's video down in the description below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. You can also visit us at revivefs.ca to learn more about our professional furniture repair services. And if you're ready for more, there are videos on screen right now that we think you'll enjoy.